Well, I think I will begin with, well, all you real good people. I was making a video because of a previous video that, say, something happened, an error occurred, and therefore I have to start over. I had about 11 minutes into that video. And I know I'm going to this time give a brief introduction and continue and see if maybe that'll be processed. And if I have to, then I'll make a third video, which I'm doing. But no, this is at least now the fourth video, because the same thing happened. I showed my proof of my ID of the 007, and it said, well, an error. So now I have to start again. Okay. This is the critical proof that I have in reference to 007. It's the ID I had before the 00 big extravaganza and still have. It's the ID I use if I travel across the U.S. or even in a foreign country. I have my passport. This is my ID. There's a S before it, gives the area, but my actual ID numbers are 007, etc. And you can see it's 007, etc. Now, when I go into the store, especially to cash my checks, you have to show an ID or write a check. And I show them my ID, like now, and they say your ID, and the girls would look, and I say it's S007. They look at me, and they say 007. And so after a while, I said, well, I said, look, you girls say O. It's like, oh my gosh. O is a letter or even an expression of a word. It's really, science is numerals. It's 007. And look at me and they say, 07. All right, but it's 007. See, so it got to be sort of a little tit-tat, just to break up the monotony, try to joke around with them because they do quite a bit of work there with that checking groceries. Well, the main reason I did that is because my daughter worked for the same company, but not at that store, as the next store about a mile away. Because if my daughter worked at that store, I wouldn't walk in there. So, you know, after a while, I got with those girls, and I go like this, and I say, S007. I said, we don't know, it's, they look at it, it's 007 and so forth. So now I went to my daughter's store. And actually, I'm going to joke around with her and try to give her a moment, pause to rest, and you know, maybe have a little enlightenment that day. So after I left the store, there happened to be one of the girls in the store I go to. Like I say, I can see it right now from my picture window of my office. And that girl from that store told my daughter, says, oh, that's that flirt. He's always flirting with us girls. My daughter says, flirt? Hey, no, he's joking around because I do this work and that's my father. Your father? Yeah. Now when she comes back and tells the other girls, and now I walk in the store, now when I take out my ID, and they say, your ID, which they have to do, and I say, that's 007, and they say, oh, we know you, you're 007. You understand? So it got to be a joke. I didn't even have to take my license out because I have it memorized, and they say, your ID, and I say, look at me, and I say 007, and they say, oh, we know you, you're 007. So that's what they began calling me. Now, Hoover, there was a program, and they referred to me and would mention it, that I was the man boy to begin with, because when I was young, I made 4 years high school and 3 A's in physics and math, and planned that I could maybe be the first Catholic, especially Italian descent, president. That was my goal. And I figured I'm maybe doing better than anybody my age in this U.S. I might be able to do it. Lincoln was a poor man and self-educated essentially, and he became president, so maybe this poor Italian man can actually become the first Catholic, especially Italian descent, president. So that was my goal. So they said, well, look, at that young age, he's a man boy. He's planning what to do when he's 35. Now that all these years that I'm elderly, they now say I'm the boy man, because I try to think back of the younger years and try to keep my health and not that much of youth, but I try to do things in as young and as energetic, and because I like to exercise. I actually would give PT exercise to the cadets, and I played baseball, as I've mentioned. That's why I have this especially New York accent of the holler guy. I was, they call a holler guy, a peppy guy. Holler, hey, let's get going, and so forth. Pep him up. I was a leadoff batter, called a spark plug. And that worked, and I won the, helped him, I was the key player to win the championship. So I didn't think we spoke with an accent, but when I taped my voice, good golly, I sounded like a New York tough guy. Well, gee, this is the way we spoke, and especially in my neighborhood, Joe DiMaggio was the big idol. Everybody played baseball. You'd say, there's nobody better than Joe DiMaggio. And then maybe a father who says, you're playing too much baseball. Come on, do some studies, your studies, or do some work around the house and so forth. And they say, well, look, Joe DiMaggio, if we play baseball, we can play baseball maybe for the Yankees. There's nobody better than DiMaggio. And then they might say, there's the Pope. Nobody's better than DiMaggio except the Pope. So this is then my speaking voice, and they would throw at me, you're to nullify my plans of being the first Catholic, especially Italian descent, president. You're not tall in your speaking voice. And if they ever said, well, write in your speech and we'll look it over for you to maybe give a speech, I'd have to have a spell check for sure, because English wasn't my first language, and you don't spell the word as it's pronounced, while in Italian, as you pronounce the word is how you spell it. So I said, well, and then started literature then. So I said, well, I'll see about this literature. And the greatest challenge in literature is poetry. Now I try to compose and try to speak, if I really want to speak, in as elegant but pronunciation and enunciation as maybe your speaker would. And then say, well, I speak truthfully, and I suggest you vote for me. If you vote for me, I will definitely and guarantee that I will do best for you. If you want to vote for somebody else, you vote for somebody else. I wish you luck. You understand? So I obtained a renaissance. It's rinascimento, enlightenment as far as the discipline of political science called dirty politics by most for obvious reasons. So this is really me. And now push has come to shove, and they did that with my father's family, and Hoover and the British intelligence worked as far as experimenting on somebody and experimenting my brother to death. Wow. The tremendous horror and aggravation of my parents and family, of my father's family, and me. So I knew the aggravation that is going to last the rest of your life as far as murder. So I risked my life to try to expose the lies about weapons of mass destruction and all that, because the Zionists wanted the U.S. to go to war against the Arab country, and the U.S. wanted, and the Brits wanted. So that's why it was Slick Willie Webster, then director of FBI, followed criminally insane Homo Hoover, if I recall. Yeah, it was Slick Willie Webster. They put together reports. They were maybe 50% truth, but they didn't have 51 votes. They needed 51 out of 100 to go to war against Iraq. And he put the troops there. All they needed now was 51 votes. So I said, it's a lie. And they could knock me off at any time. I risked my life because I knew they would get the casualties of men and not even have girls there, and who they'd have to kill in order to take over that little country. Now, everything that I've said has been proven now by many others. That was the House of Commons had an investigation and obtained proof. They falsified the reports. Isn't that correct? On international national TV, they falsified the reports. They got the 51 votes. He says, I have the troops there. He's a coward of Vietnam. Ducked going to Vietnam, a coward of Vietnam. Now he's posing as a chief. He says, I got the troops there. If I don't use them, I'll lose them. That's a hypocritical lie. Put the troops there so he could use that excuse. And they could get oil there. It's part of the reason. Now, how many got killed? And then how many realized, hey, they did that on falsified reports with the British intelligence. So that's like murder. You've murdered. Some of them, especially one woman, I think, started to go from town to town, and others. And they would say, no, you didn't get killed, it was murder. So it isn't just me. Oh, now it's about 13 minutes, and the other one was about 11 minutes. So I say this because it's the truth. Now watch, like part 2 of going into proving detail. And a critical point now is, you can really, see, that's the way they planned it. Because I figured the only thing maybe I could do is to make a sign and parade in front of my Xerox. Well, if they put this upmanship games, they like to put it in, you know, because they're in an office and nice clothes and so forth. But it's really vicious games when it comes to going to war or somebody getting killed or knocked off, like President Kennedy was, and Reverend Martin Luther King. Isn't that correct? So, if they put it over there in England, over here they could say, hey, you know, he has a point. If it's not true, it sure is coincidence. I am about man X, because they would say I was the man boy. Now they can refer to me as the boy man. I'm trying to think back of the years and stay alive. as youthful and as healthy as I possibly can. So there was a program on TV, Joe Man X, and I use X all the time. It's the independent variable in mathematical physics. I think it's even spelled. See, I don't take the time to research it. I go by memory. Then if I have to, I say, well, I'll look back and see that's precisely that, or it's essentially correct. So what I say about 007, well, you call it 007, yeah. What I recall of 007 is what I'm saying. Well, something came up about Anita O'Day. Her singing Green Eyes. Terrific. I saw that. And then, well, there's also Helen O'Connell. And she has a little lighter hair. And then there's my brother and I, and he played piano and singing. Great voice. And girls really liked him. So there was the Castellano brothers, and then there was the Eberly brothers. And I'm not sure which one sang with Helen O'Connell. And I try to imitate my brother's real good voice and their good voice. And she sang Green Eyes. So I checked back and I had to make another video tune reference to that. So now I'm making another video tune reference about this 007. This 007 that everybody calls 007 and I call half-ass Brit 003.5. Can you say 003.5 half-ass Brit baloney hype? Become a tremendous moneymaker. Just like the Nessie is a phonied up. And it was on national international TV of the man who did it as part of that was an inside joke about 007. I've never seen any picture. I actually called a fella a half-ass Brit 003.5. Up, hoopla. Now I call myself 009. I'm a real man. I'm +2 better than that 007. I pull a crap over. So, this is really me and what the true facts are. Oh, it can't be. Well, now I can really put a strong argument about Rocky. And that's what I then finally was forced to expose. Absolutely. You see the other one, especially those who doubt. I'm not going to say it now. You look at the second part that was processes on about the true facts about Rocky. And I'll knock the crap all out of you criminally insane hubris, because that's how I got into real trouble. Is that push came to shove and I used my fist and I found out if they actually hit me, I can't hit them back. I just have to then call the police or bring them to court that they assaulted me, because if I hit them back and I don't have a witness, they have a witness, is what they said, is that I hit them, they never hit me, and now I got to pay them for them trying to get me into arguments so they can always write something negative about anything about me, you understand? And that's how I lost money in my first home. They took 2 homes away from me on purpose. So these are the true facts. They have me now like a fighter. A fighter can't use his fists because he's trained to use his fist, and he's in real trouble if he uses a fist. So they have me in that position, real trouble, because I won my boxing and my weight class in college, and I know how to box. That's the true facts. And you look at it, especially then about the movie Rocky, about an Italian descent man and a boxer in Philadelphia. These are the true facts, and I thank you. And I have to say all you good people, you know this is the truth, and he that certainly say he has the right of reasonable honors and compensation, and what's called a court of last resort, the American public. I say thank you.